on the roster this weekend, and that means, like, I felt like with all the Senna picks, he was trying to, like, force TL into learning a new style to win, and that never worked, and now they cannot rely on double lift, and they have to learn a new style to win.
All right, let's get into the champ select then. Varus, Tahm, Kench locked up. Very safe. I like this combination, especially, you know, Varus, one of those AD carries that's kind of difficult with your positioning. His offensive power is so good, though. Good early lane phase, brings that CC to the bottom side as well.
Yeah, gonna be very strong duo lane. We'll see now what Tactical and CoreJJ want to do up against that. We tend to see top lane plus bot duo grabbed in the early rotations in Champion Select. There's the MF, great champ as overall, and the Blitzcrank. Hover I like, but I think it's not what Core's gonna play.
All right, double down on that.
I think it's not what Core's gonna play.
All right, what do we bet?
It's this, right? Braum is the default go-to support in a Tahm Kench that most champions.
You know what? You can win for winning the bet.
Yep.
You win all of my winnings from the LCS game show.
Wow, thanks very much.
Congratulations.
I've profited 0.
The Braum, though, is it's actually more fun all-time stats because I looked up so many random stats in preparation for the game show. Braum is also the most played single champion all time in all of the LCS.
Yeah, that was a Jat stat like 3 weeks ago.
Fair enough.
Sejuani comes through, though, and this is going to be a lot of power. The TSM draft is hyped. They picked the best jungler in the game right now. Buff Cinderhulk Sejuani.
Highly debatable. Very highly debatable.
That's fine.
You can also Trundle pick into it is up right now, so we'll see if TSM want to focus on jungle bans as Team Liquid still have to grab theirs. 2 of my favorites into it. Yes, the Trundle, as I just mentioned, no longer an option. I really like Olaf into it. Okay. However, like Team Liquid talked about, they don't want to play for bullying early game, which is a lot of what that's about. Olaf can absolutely run over Sejuani. A lot of it is dueling and invading and playing off strong lanes. Since we traditionally think that Team Liquid are going to go for more of a 5v5 setup for later in the game, probably won't be the pick, and TSM probably won't have to waste a ban on it either.
Yeah.
The Aatrox, though, I like this. Team Liquid trying to ban out some of the Broken Blade options. Broken Blade has been such a huge part of TSM's victories, and a huge part of their flexibility in Champion Select. He has flexed so many different champions to the top lane. Him, Dardoch, and Bjergsen all trading, you know, Sett, Ornn, Kiana style champions for themselves, which has really been a big advantage.
Now TSM more concerned with the Jarvan than the Olaf here into this one. We'll see exactly what Broxah wants to play. His Lee Sin is up. Notable for that champion here. It seemed like you get to maybe put a second top lane ban in. We've seen a lot of Aatrox versus Sett. Sett versus pick, of course, not much of a surprise, but we'll see what else TL might be concerned about.
It's kind of hard to ban so many of the flex picks on top side, so I'm going to go with just general power that's left up for solo picks. Since you're going to have to reveal one right now. Aurelia, Aurelia Assassination definitely has been used by TSM already.
Expecting top lane here, right? You can leave Bjergsen pick for last unless he really wants like an Ori or something. Ooh, we've seen this before.
Yeah, and flexible. Technically can still move it between lanes. They're gonna lock it in.
I think that's 99% top, right? That's what CLG ran way back in week 1 and nearly came away with the win. I think it is a good pick in Sett. We just don't see that matchup very often, but it should be favored in like overall game state.
Exactly, and favored in the sense that you're scaling, right?
Right.
Should be able to get very good CS here. Kayle with the extra range earlier on. Huge boon to the laning. And should be able to kite the Sett very effectively. Now, one of the problems with the CLG aspect was that Rune was actually getting a decent CS lead in that game. However, they created action on that top side of the map and kind of messed up the Kayle scaling part of it. Good blind pick here, though. The Zoe, we just saw it on display from C9 and Niski in the last game.
Yeah.
Locking that one up for Jensen.
Wow, Maokai is certainly a hover. I'm not... the thing is, if it is Kayle mid, Maokai is one of the big winners of this patch with the Sunfire Cape buffs. I really do think there are lots of really viable top lane tanks not named Ornn in this patch. Maokai, Malphite, Poppy, Sett jungle with Cinderhulk is very good as well. It is realistic for TSM to say, actually, double tank is the meta. And I like this a lot. I like this so much that TSM are saying, hey, before anyone else shows us anything, we think Maokai's great, and I agree.
Yeah, and see, got him with the Kayle pick there. Definitely flexible. They can still move it around. It could be mid Bjerg. His Ornn play was good.
Yeah. Honestly, no. I think mid Maokai is more likely than mid Kayle.
And do you remember the days of AP mid Maokai?
Yeah.
Chew 8.
Yes. Roa Rush every game.
Some Hall of Fame names here.
I guess.
Bjergsen gonna continue. FlyQuest didn't get their win, but looks like we're gonna have a tree in the mid lane here versus Zoe.
I love it.
Try and out-sustain the Zoe poke. That's one of the things with Maokai, especially with people using spells so frequently. We'll see some of that ridiculous healing. Tank it up through the mid lane. This will be the new wave for TSM. Broken Blade on the big carry for them, scaling later on.
I love it. I love it so much. It's going to be very exciting. There is a great backline. It is Kayle top lane for Broken Blade, who's been having an outstanding year on TSM so far. Doesn't get a lot of ganks, has very good stats. Kobbe on Varus, a very consistent player, good CS, good damage numbers, and TSM innovating, putting out new champions, and Bjergsen's on a Maokai, who should be very, very good.
Honestly, with all the buffs to tanks, we've been waiting for a Maokai. This is the first Maokai of the split in the LCS.
Yeah.
Good cause here. Everyone join. Cat for Kobbe. Travis Scafford has denied me thus far. But thank you in the crowd for the support.
There have been 3 Maokais all year long, if you count like the regional leagues and everything else.
All right. Did he use the cat skin for the Maokai? Can we get a reveal on Bjergsen? Can we get a reveal?
Is it Maokai? That's a Sejuani.
That's
an
invade.
Dardoch.
Oh, they're invading on bottom side. 3 members.
You're trying to get the camera to look over to the bottom side, aren't you?
Yes, it's a bit of a bait, but it's real. All right,
no.
No cats, but he gets a tongue lick.
What? Tactical. I like that. Presses W after the attack. Gets the move speed out of it. As TSM walks back out.
First lick.
Nicely done. So like I said, there have been 3 Maokai picks so far, worldwide and competitive. 2 of the 3 were 2 days ago, as some of the regional leagues were playing.
Do you have the build up there? Because I'm expecting him to just out-tank Zoe
Grasp,
damage.
Abyssal, Sunfire, like Locket, Stone Plate,
Now,
maybe a Doran's Ring at some point, but that's it.
Full AP Maokai is really hilarious, but this champion has so many strengths going tank builds. And probably expect to see something like a Spirit Visage built as well, just to make the most out of that passive.
Yeah.
But it is always funny to try and remember those days where you stack up a bunch of the saplings in a brush, someone gets one shot walking through.
Yeah, I'm glad it's dot now, so it can't quite do that thing.
True.
In general, Maokai's AP scaling is not great. He's actually got mostly health scaling on a lot of the abilities, but whoop. Maokai, by the way, has very, very quick attack frames. Like the point in the swing where the impact hits is very early.
So I played him jungle, and I was actually surprised at even the level 1 attack speed that he has now.
Yep. So Maokai's one of the champions, because he was an old top lane tank back in 2017, where when Runes Reforged came out, they gave him and all the other top lane tanks like Nautilus 15% level 1 attack speed. So he's actually got, like, generally speaking, like one of the quickest level 1 attack speeds in the game.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I thought they had done it specifically for jungle, because attack speed's so good for jungling, because you're trying to clear three neutral camps.
Yeah, they've done those down the line as well.
But yeah. All right, we'll see.
Ooh, I know, we're tracking tactical CS, and it's, he's getting some. That's what, I'm going to be as positive as I can be.
I like that summary.
He's got 5.
Kobbe is also getting some. So basically they're doing the same, right, Freak?
They're both numbers. Kobbe has twice as many numbers, though, in his CS, so that's probably twice as good. It's actually more than twice as good, because Tactical missed another one.
Yeah. He also has the Skinergy with his mid laner. I believe they were both Infernal.
That's nice. I like that. As Bjergsen is refusing to take any damage. Equal CS right now. Top is pushed in. Nice bit of CC chain there. Good punch. Not bad. And you expect some degree of this. I think dueling Sett early on doesn't really happen, even though Kayle has some range tools. It's just you run out of mana if you try to use too much.
I mean, focus here 100%.
Yeah.
For Broken Blade is all on farming. It's all on trying to grab the last hits here.
Yeah. Unironically, we're scaling.
Exactly. Trying to whittle down a Sett with the Doran Shield, with the passive you have to take into account. There's just so much healing there. Honestly, it's better to use more of his mana trying to control the wave. Impact, though, has 3, and he's got Broxah available.
Oh, Broken Blade, body slam, slow, kick back as well, flashes the wall. There's the chase down. Sett wants in. It's Saturday, baby. Impact gets first blood.
That was so cool. Even trailed a minion over there with him. What timing for TL.
Instant TP for Broken Blade. Of course, he has to do it. The wave is going to freeze against him. And a flashless Kayle is such a gank target.
Yeah, this is a really, really scary situation for Broken Blade. That's why I look at your mini-map. Immediately, they have Dardoch heading up to the top side. Because the wave is pushing away from Kayle, he's got no flash. You have to have your jungler around to make sure you can try and get that wave, bounce off the turret, and continue to scale here for the Kayle.
Yep. And level 6 Kayle gets ranged, and this is, depending on when that recall stops. Oh, Broken Blade.
Yeah, saw him, but again, gonna have to wait from afar.
Yeah, I don't think Dardoch wins the 2-on-2 with a flashless Kayle, who's down a level, so.
Another look at it, but yeah, man, that timing, he just got around the corner. Broken Blade. You see that minion that he trailed over to? Impact had the melee on him, so he was able to get the stun. One enemy on both sides and flashes right over to follow him.
Nicely done right there as we look back at how the mid lane is going, and it's still equal. The mid lane tank farm doing just fine for Bjergsen. I really do enjoy the fact that he's taken more of a tank role. I know, years past it was sort of like Bjergsen 1v9, everyone else's a ward, but he's taken a more supportive role with the team, and maybe TSM's top 3.
And it's been interesting to watch the development of the team as well, really playing to the personalities and styles of their players.
Yep.
Broken Blades excelled a lot on, those damage carries, so trying to open up room that way. That being said, bottom lane, again, we're going to focus a lot on tactical. He's in this high-pressure situation, jumping into the LCS, and it is getting pushed in a lot, but the Varus, Tahm, Kench, very adept at doing that. You can see Kobbe using all of his mana, spamming his AoE on the wave, trying to continually shove it in. To get a little bit of harass there as well, as he stepped pretty close to the minions. But they get their recall off, try and power shove your wave on a cannon wave. Does get executed by CoreJJ there.
Good mechanics there. Keeps the CS at 10 difference. They both got all 7 of the last wave. As the recall comes in, Tactical can mostly walk back without much issue. MF, of course, with a ton of extra movement speed, is going to feel fine. But hey, a 10 CS difference still can be quite painful.
Oh, Predator, I just saw activated by Gragas. Broxah fishing around on the top side, but Broken Blade's playing cautiously. He knows anytime you have a big minion wave built up, that is an objective.
That's mid lane coming over. That's Bjergsen wanting to help out with the top side, helping to cover for Broken Blade. 3 members up top lane. They didn't even actually specifically see the Gragas, but they knew something was up.
And that means that Zoe then gets to shove the wave into mid lane. So the CS on top side secured for Broken Blade, but they lose out a couple as it gets shoved in quickly to the tower here in mid lane. And Bjergsen kind of pays it forward there with a little bit of support.
Yeah, Bjergsen misses gold on all 3 melees, and at least one of the cast minions down there.
You talked about him being more selfless as the years have gone on, Freak.
Sure.
And he's also had quite a few moments where he talked about leadership and these things he's looking a lot more closely at with the team. TSM, they know they've got a problem up here on the top side because of that early, well-played gank from Team Liquid.
Yeah, well done. It's nice to see, actually, Broxah kind of returning to the form people expected after his seasons on Fnatic. I mean, he was the one who got that gank off. That is what TL fans were hoping for, and they get the glimpse of it now. If you get more games like that, you are making your way back up. TL right now, kind of on the outside of playoffs looking in. They definitely need to improve to make it. A record worse than 8-10 has never made playoffs, so they do have to shape up here in the back half.
Yeah, Double is very well known for talking about how, as 4-time back-to-back champions, like he wanted someone in NA to challenge them. But now it's interesting that because of all the, late arrival of Broxah, because of, the sickness, subbing people out, they're in a situation where they have to challenge North America. It's not that North America has to provide a challenge to Team Liquid.
Yeah.
They're now the ones at the bottom of the standings with a lot of work to do.
And look at this, lane swapped around. Impact now laning mid lane up against the Maokai as the Zoe sent up top. They're going to hope that Jensen can do a lot up there as the items are coming through.
Do like it when you can remain fluid through these lanes, especially just trying to maximize the amount of CS you can grab. Zoe on the top side there with Cleanse as well.
It also plays around item spikes, right? Because Bjergsen backed and picked up Spectre's Cowl, assuming he's going to lane against Zoe. And then here's Sett with his all physical damage. And oops, guess what? It doesn't do anything.
Zoe, meanwhile, trying to find a shove on the wave. When you have this trade and both teams are trying to continually answer, you know, big advantage to the team that gets to shove and move first, because the other team is always chasing you around and you can lose CS in transition. Also, it always makes me highlight the rivers, because if you constantly are going up and down this highway, the vision between the river means so much, and the best teams try and have their jungler come over and you try and pick someone off in transition. Gragas is a great jungler to do that with. Sejuani even, I think is really underestimated in the level 6 power of picking champions off. So now I expect the fight over the control of basically the roadway between these two lanes to really heat up.
Lane swap highway, not going to be the target right now. It's actually TSM into the bottom side of the map. They've been winning bot lane, as expected here for Kobbe and Biofrost, as the reasonably early Ocean Drake comes in, just sub 10 minutes.
Control World will see this Herald pull out for Team Liquid, and look at the minimap. Already rotating up support and jungler here. Takes a long time to do Rift Herald. Teleports our channel Freak. We may have our 5-on-5.
Tactical's going to feel safe. Was almost in range of that engage. That was... I wonder if he actually could have gone for a Sej ulti there, but it's at least poke on a Biofrost. Bullet time forces the flash away as well. Braum sets it up, and Jensen knocks it down.
That bubble from Jensen ensures that Bio falls asleep on the edge there, and they're able to chase him down for the kill after the Rift Herald. TSM rotate everyone up to try and make sure they don't give up an objective on the side of Dragon being taken by themselves, but in the end, it's going to be an easier activation of Rift Herald with the extra person advantage. Abyssal Voyage could be used from Biofrost to get back quicker, but TL already cashed in.
2 plates down, 120 gold tactical, 120 goes over to Broxah as they look to push to the top side. Now Broken Blade has the ulti. Can keep anyone safe, and that means there's no tower dive here against the Kayle.
Yeah, tower diving against Kayle and Tahm, Kench, Sejuani.
Ill-advised.
Very, very ill-advised. Lots of defense in place. So they're not going to go for it. No overreaching here.
Good smite. Impact could have tried to steal that one. Dardoch takes down the ward, and Tactical is now going to stay up in the top side of the map here. No one is yet bottom lane. It's going to push, looks like, towards TSM's turret.
All right, and again, the Zoe bubble on the bottom of your screen is a big thing to watch here. Because Tactical ults to get a decent amount of range there. He falls asleep just on the edge of that MF ult, though. And CoreJJ can follow it up with the Braum stun to make sure they get that kill.
Brox gets to take away some chickens as well. TSM on the back foot here. A 2,000 gold lead to Team Liquid. Very impressive stuff. Off the back of almost everyone on their team, really. It's everyone doing a little bit of that work to get it through. TSM really only an Ocean Drake to their favor. TL hoping to keep up with some of the teams above them in the standings. Immortals had a pretty pleasant start at 5-5. They're in playoffs right now anyway, with 8 games to play. See them against Golden Guardians up next.
With Ocean Drake plus a decent amount of healing in all these champions from TSM 2, they're going to try and sustain through, continue to scale up. Team Liquid may consider trying to get some Grievous Wounds on the board for themselves. Currently, though, both bottom lanes swapped up to top side, and we still have 2 minutes left on that Dragon before they have to reorganize their vision and their pressure. Looks like the teleports will be up for the solo lane sides of TSM, but not for either of the marksmen here that are currently staged up there. I wonder if they actually force them off. 4 members of TSM trying to force CoreJJ and Tactical off the tower defense.
Ooh, and Core's going to stay at the turrets. This is going to be an easy tower dive if they want to go for it, but they're afraid of the reinforcements. Brox is here now as well, and Kobbe going to be slowed. There's not going to be a play made, but TSM flinch and call off the dive.
I think that's a deserved flinch. Trying to burst down a Braum with a timing window like that where they've shown everyone can definitely get a bit dicey. And his ult was back up.
Yeah. End of the day, they don't go for it. Had someone to heal there as well, and without an ignite to cut that healing down, he's pretty durable. Now a dive onto the turret. Look at the layered crowd control. Jensen is able to flash away. Re-engage towards Bjergsen. They push him back in, but there's no kill to be had. Can't find the way in there. Still 2 summoners down is a good play for TSM. This plating will fall soon with only a few drops. Impact now on a duel with Broken Blade. Big punch comes in. As time wears on, Broken Blade is scaling, scaling, scaling.
Yep, almost at 11 points. Dardoch also didn't have to use his ultimate in the mid lane. That was just Bjergsen going for the combo and gets the summoner spells. So well played by Bjergsen on this Maokai. See, he's got the Bomby Cinder for the early wave control. Then starting to build No Magic Mantle as well. Oh, actually, that was first because of the lane matchup. You mentioned it.
Right, yeah.
Versus Zoe.
And then into the Sunfire if you can do it, of course. And there is a decent amount of physical damage, right? You've got Sett and Misfortune down there. And on the other side, of course, the Gragas and Zoe for magical. So you do want to go half and half, which is kind of to expectation. Sejuani's going to get Stone Plate for too long.
Now, in setting up the dragon fight that's about to come up, we talked about, all right, both duo lanes were on top side. Team Liquid are opting to keep Tactical and CoreJJ on the top side, even with 4 seconds left on the dragon. So they just want the money of the tower on Tactical right now for Misfortune.
Yeah.
Very willing to give up a Cloud Drake early on in the mid game. Yes, they'd love if they could get a pick on somebody rotating through the jungle as well, but money right now for Team Liquid in exchange for dragon stacking versus a team that's trying to scale up.
And there is top turret going down. Tactical 450 gold richer. TL up 3,500 gold their early game. I mean, that's actually a bigger lead than Cloud9 had last game. And we were already lamenting how hard that was for FlyQuest. So nothing but kudos to TL up here. Their AD carry Tacticals got equal farm to Kobbe. Looking decent.
And we talked about this a lot, but some of the thought behind trying to get your gold now so that you can win the 3rd or the 4th dragon fight a lot easier. Even if the enemy team is stacking up some of these weaker dragon buffs on in the early game, if they can't win a team fight later on.
Well, it's actually so interesting because I was casting TSM last week as well, and they were the team that would often give up early drakes to earn gold leads, and that gold lead meant they closed the game out. Like it was actually a really good early game. TSM are now on the basically other side of their ideal play. It's like the losing side is one who takes the drakes early on. Seems to be like the rough evolution of the metagame right now in the LCS.
Yeah. This time they're also the ones with the Kayle. And we're looking at some of the combinations. Kale's ult can be used to peel for one of your carries in the backline if you get dove on. But it also is a good combination with Maokai. Bjergsen could just charge right in there. You get some big AoE damage on. Maokai's very good at getting to the center, locking down a lot of members. And looks like they're actually going to try and force off of this second Rift Herald.
All right, that is a sleep coming over. Will there be a real fight? Poke's not going to land for much. Bjergsen goes for the root, but Jensen gets right back out. In the other half of the ultimate. Herald's alive, but no one's going to go for that fight just yet. Looking at another sleep. Not going to find that one either. Bot lane's gonna start looking better for Broken Blade. Starts walking up, level 11. Finds the Q, finds the Empowered E.
We scaling.
We're scaling. I mean, it truly is important to note. To a certain degree, TSM can hold a gold deficit. The champions can scale better. They've got more true tanks, and I think Kayle outscales the other 9 champions in the map.
So also, whenever you're against Zoe, right, we saw in the last game, you want someone to be able to take the poke and then try and regen back up. And that's just why I also really like this Maokai pick even more. Because if you have someone in the front line, Bjergsen, you basically just play Pong, try and catch all the paddle stars, then go auto attack something, heal back up later, and be this buffer for the rest of your team. Because if you don't, and the paddle stars land on these high priority targets, then you start to get forced off of objectives.
Yeah, you might see a Visage come through. That's the build path right here. Well, Warbogs was actually meant as an anti-poke item when it was first sort of remade into this big out of combat. It was like, tank the Nidalee Spear, because that's when this was done. Nidalee was popular back then. And then, you know, drop aggro for 8 seconds, get your health back up, and you can play a tank to withstand poke, and then as a tank, you would then engage the poke champions. And this is, I think, what a lot of the Maokai and Sejuani are going to be trying to do this game. You can see Broken Blade gets the uncontested turret, and this is TSM ever so slightly turning the corner and getting the game a bit closer.
And I really like going down the theory of how these counters play out, because there are so many extra tools in League of Legends. We look at your composition, right? Cloud9 did the same thing in the last game. They've got some poke. If you land a substantial amount onto a good target, then you want to force after while they're low, right? Don't allow the Maokai to disengage, just heal back up. Broxah here on the Gragas, that's one of the best, split-second initiators and impact Sett is always looking for these flanks to, get somebody high priority back into the team. And that's why the warding really becomes so big with these types of teams. Riftfield number 2, though, should be able to get some more territory for Team Liquid.
Boom. And that is turret going down. Team Liquid got first turret outer. And TSM got the one in the bot lane. The TL answered back a few minutes later with the mid lane. Still staying with the turret lead. And staying up with the kill lead here as well. Looking at a solid 3,500 gold still in the favor for Team Liquid. But I think they should really try to contest this bottom river. I think going to 3 Drakes, probably a bit more than you want to do. Like, if you're going to win the game at 23 minutes, it's fine. Give the Drake and close it out. But TL, I don't think are close enough to win the game so quickly that they don't have to contest Soul at some point. I think they cannot give this one away to TSM if they can help it. Gotta look for a fight at the bottom lane. They gotta slow on a Biofrost, but now have to retreat as the TPs come in. Bjergsen in melee range lanes. The Q could be slowed. Is stunned now as well. Pulled right back in, forced to flash away. When is the re-engage? Decent damage comes out. There's the stun. Big hits towards Broxah. Impact comes in for massive damage, but they gotta trade that one for one. Maokai is on the board. Both mid laners gonna kill.
Big finish on that kill. That was really important for Jensen to be able to finish off Kobbe for Team Liquid, because it was a haymaker with big AoE damage on everyone, but if you don't get the actual execution, then they don't get an objective afterwards. Lots of healing coming in here for TSM, trying to sustain up under their tower, and still in position to contest this dragon. Another nice paddle star here from Jensen. Remember, Jensen has gone with the big burst damage early on the low MR targets. He has full magic penetration with the Luden's Echo Burst. That mid-game Zoe spike of Orb, Sork Shoes, and Ludens gets you those big kills on the backline carries with maximum effect. Kobbe doesn't stand a chance. All right, here's another look at how it started out with the teleport starting to channel early. Bjergsen was one of the ones who started channeling at first. Does get the early timer there as TSM used both of them. And Tactical is forced to flash, but Bjergsen can just Q, walk back out, and then he defensively Maokai ults, but Impact goes in at the same time. And you think there's a big separation here, where Impact, top of your screen, TSM then focus on him. The Haymaker, though, lowers Kobbe, and then on your screen, look at that. The Devour onto Dardoch meant that that Q went through and killed Kobbe, actually. Dardoch was in front of him. Biofrost devours the Sejuani, and the paddle star went through. I didn't see that the first time, but that's got to feel really bad.
Yeah, I was a little shocked to see that Kobbe had died. It looked like he had gotten a safety, and that's what happened. So that is an ouch. That sucks. But hey, when you're Jensen, you'll take those. With 33 flat Magic Pen, does true damage to the 34 MR Varus, and that is pain. Impact cannot lane well against Broken Blade. This Kayle is going to feel comfortable for the rest of this matchup, for the rest of this game. It is a tool that TSM can work around, and Team Liquid must deal with.
That's going to become, that might end up becoming such a critical play, because that was third dragon. And you're talking about that extra pressure setting up for the soul point for TSM. Definitely a very big one. Critical snipe there, Jensen. As you're saying, we take those.
We definitely take those. I got to call out that I do sort of like the fact that Kobbe has skipped the Hurricane for now and is actually rushing towards Rage Blade. Being that Broxah is building a bit more squishy, right? It's the Sork Shoes, not the Merc Treads. Yeah. He's not going to frontline nearly as much, so you're not hitting that many melee champions in most of these cases. So Kobbe is going for the single target damage and not the Hurricane, which is the AoE damage output. I think based on the builds, it's the right choice ever so slightly. Rage Blade's now done. That's the really big Varus power spike. If TSM does stabilize, their champions are looking pretty good here.
Yeah, and it can burn down neutral objectives too.
Ooh. Speaking of burning down, though, Broken Blade gets punched a couple of times. Impact has CoreJJ right behind him. There's the ult for a bit of crowd control. Wants to find the rest of this one as Broken Blade was slowed. He's pulled back in, and the self-ult is just not going to be enough. Haymaker slightly early. Doesn't matter. Impact grabs the kill. And with help, they can knock down the Kayle.
Sett with a big chase down there. All right, let's see what they can do afterwards. He's going to push on that bottom turret, but don't think that pick is going to be anything, alluding to Baron setup or anything. So TSM trying to clear waves as they wait for the respawn. Honestly, if they try and transition some of their vision over to Baron now, I think that might be a big point of pressure. Impact is going to take out the last outer turret on the side of TSM, and the walls start to close in on you when your full outer ring of towers is down, because Team Liquid have an easier time shoving out these side waves to prep for the neutral objectives. And then TSM always have multiple things to try and answer here. And then they're late getting to the objective where Zoe can then throw her bubbles easier. And when you're walking into the darkness, it feels like your hands are full.
When you mentioned sort of setting it up and playing the lanes properly, I kind of feel bad for Broken Blade. Look at the bottom of the minimap. He had aggressive wards to track the gank paths, right? The vision was there to let him just stay in the 1v1 against Impact, and TL still managed to bring Core over and actually find that kill regardless. And that's TSM, I mean, doing the setup correctly. And unfortunately, couldn't get anything on the other side of the map. TL, of course, grows the gold lead. They've got an almost 5,000 gold advantage now. That is almost insurmountable, even with the KO. This starts to feel a little bit out of reach. TL maybe turning this corner on their season. Biofrost dropped to 20%.
See if they can actually finish off this Turk. Map definitely dark. Where's the flank?
Good ult. I like that. Slows. They might find Kobbe. They force the chomp out as Core disengages, but here comes the pushback. They found Kobbe. Nice setup for Broxah. Ulti's going to be big damage as flaps come over, but Jensen has knocked down Bjergsen already. 2 for 0 Team Liquid, hitting them with their inventories, taking away the kills.
I really appreciate that vision toggle by the observers. As soon as you see that force on mid lane without vision on either side, you go, where are the flanks coming from, Freak? Because you know they're imminent, and it actually is both sides from Team Liquid. Can they finish off the Baron, though? Dardoch looking for a steal.
He can try. He's flashless, has the ult, and jumps back over. Jensen marking him so well that TSM gonna recall away. Team Liquid had such a rough start for the split, but up against TSM have been in complete control the whole game.
All right, we'll just go down the list once again. Wards on the side, they're trying to figure out where the engagers are. You need to mark them. You can see right now on the mini-map. Here he comes, Sett on this side, Broxah very patiently on top. Great MF ult and flash from CoreJJ. They want to force out the Devourer before the flank even occurs. And then the job is easy for Broxah. Comes in, perfect combo, passes him over to Impact, and they absolutely dissect TSM in the mid lane.
And now attempting to grab the third Drake. This is something that TSM needs to maybe find the comeback. I think they got to go for the smite, but they got to go to force this one down. Is it enough for Dardoch to claim this one? Does grab the smite, but the re-engage could be too good. Explosive cast separates. Ulti out for Broken Blade. Can't get much done. TL gonna chase down the kills. A double kill for Tactical. Give him the third. Oh, this is gonna be a lot right now. Is there the chase down? The TP coming out. Can CoreJJ get the stop? That's not gonna happen, but Biofrost can only run and hope that Jensen can't chase him down. But that's the kill picked up. A 4 for 0. Team Liquid taking over the game.
Team Liquid with Tactical, 3-0-3 on this misfortune. He had a very big ultimate setting up that mid team fight that got them the Baron. Another big play here for him in the Dragon fight, and he will push ahead to take the inhibitor himself. Really big news for Team Liquid fans. In their time of need, Double F subbed out. Tied at the bottom of the standings down there.
Yeah.
And they are looking like they might get a critical win over TSM.
Really big deal. 8 games to play. This is one of them. And handling TSM is going to look really good for your prospects towards the end of it all. TL's going to need to make up some ground to make it to the postseason. They need top 6 to have a shot at the playoffs. Top 4 gets you into the better half of the bracket. And they got a ways to go, but this is a great start. Looking at a 5th win as they are taking down TSM.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes was just such a big push for Team Liquid. So much gain. TSM though, even though they've got 2 inhibitors down, Freak, even though so much is working against them, they do have 3 dragons after all. The smite was hit. Let's take a look at the setup. Team Liquid moving in slowly with the Baron buff for themselves. They don't have to pressure ahead. They know that they can go for the 50-50 there, and it's a big showstopper to start it out. They get the slow, they get the engage onto Kobbe and force the Devour. Even though Dardoch hits that ulti, and even though the cast from Gragas actually gets them out of the Haymaker, Team Liquid still can sweep in through the river and finish everybody off as they're all split.
Yeah, able to engage so aggressively that there's never really time for the backline to free hit. You're just not getting that Rage Blade damage out of the Varus. You're not really getting, I mean, the Dash is not even done yet, but you're not getting the auto-attack damage out of the Kayle either. A long fight should technically favor TSM, but the tanks aren't tanky enough, and TSM is getting pushed down. Now Team Liquid with double inhibs down, looking towards that top lane. Impact feels safe doing it. Baron buff is gone, but with a 10,000 gold lead, looked at a 30-minute win.
Yeah, one thing Team Liquid are using really well in these team fights is their AoE. So many times the ults from Tactical are forcing the DPS from TSM to actually walk and not DPS. Same thing with impacts there, getting in the middle on Sett, forcing them into very poor situations to try and take anyone down. And now TSM corralled in their own base, awaiting the last hurrah.
As you push forward, Impact's gonna knock down the rest of this side of the wave, and damage on a Biofrost. He's gonna be forced back now as well, as Tactical gets his debut in the LCS with maybe a win over the winningest org in LCS history. His old org from last year. Won an Academy Championship, TSM won a bunch of LCS titles. Team Liquid going for their 5th straight, beginning of this split, but it's a long uphill road for them. As Bjergsen's ult comes out, they all line up in the middle, only one person gets tagged, and now it's time to go yet again to knock down the base, to take down the final Nexus turret. Stun's gonna land, Impact's pretty safe. Here comes the hard dive, bullet time onto one. Bjergsen running out of health, explosive cast, brings in the top Kench, and this could be kills. Kobbe's gone, Bjergsen gonna be next up to get killed. That's 2 for 0 already for Impact, as they are forced back to the fountain. Team Liquid forced the retreat. They look for the next minion wave to push yet again as the mid lane clear comes through. He hit the kill in a broken blade yet again. The fountain is not enough to keep TSM alive. The Nexus turrets will fall. Then Team Liquid will find their 5th win in 2020.
Broxah looking good over there on the Gragas.
Yeah.
Critical early gank onto the Kayle. Changes the face of this team composition. Just completely takes away one of the big points TSM are banking on for later. Makes them have to sacrifice Maokai teleport, Maokai CS, plus more jungle attention. Broxah as well later on into the game with a lot of big Gragas ultimates. And that flank around mid, where Team Liquid just get them from both sides. Really well played as a team. Tactical, unkilled in the LCS, 100% win ratio, infinite KDA.